I tried to tell y'all I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber. I don't know why people keep calling me that. Please stop. Don't do it in the comments. It's rather annoying. But when Nintendo Switch 2 stuff breaks on the internet, we have credible websites talking about things that are happening with it. I'm going to talk about it. If you like it, great. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. There's thousands of other videos on this channel for you to enjoy, but go ahead and subscribe anyways. But today we had a large report break from Video Games Chronicle about the Nintendo Switch 2 with some pretty interesting information. So I want to go over this with you guys and just give you guys my overall thoughts and impressions about it. I will have a link to the Video Games Chronicle website right up in the description box down below should you want to read along with me, even though I have it on the screen. But you know, give them a click or something like that. They got to get paid on their advertisements as well. So Andy Robinson over at Video Games Chronicle did a big report this morning about the Nintendo Switch 2 being available at Gamescom behind closed doors and basically doing off a showcase of the system. Now, that's pretty much within the realm of possibility. A lot of us thought that while there wasn't going to be any sort of stage presence or anything for Nintendo at Gamescom, that they would be doing some behind the closed door stuff for developers because Nintendo themselves were there at Gamescom with their new hardware. So taking a look at the article, the company is understood to have held private tech demos ahead of an expected 2024 launch. Scrolling right along here, we have Nintendo showed off tech demos for its Nintendo Switch successor behind closed doors at Gamescom, it's understood. So basically that's coming to us from Eurogamer, which VGC can corroborate between its own sort of different sources, and we get into the actual stuff that was showcased here. So one Nintendo Switch 2 demo is understood to have been an improved version of the Switch launch title, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, running at a higher frame rate and resolution than the original game did, on hardware targeting the new console specs, but there was no suggestion that this game will be re-released. Now, if you know anything about RGT, I'm of the mindset that I think there's a solid chance that the Nintendo Switch 2 successor, or whatever you want to call it, isn't going to have backwards compatibility. I'm not saying that it's not going to have backwards compatibility. I am simply entertaining the thought of it having backwards compatibility because so many people are quick to write that off. But when you look at some of the best-selling titles on the Nintendo Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, New Super Mario Bros. U, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, like these were Wii U games that were ported over and did substantially better on this system than they did on the previous system. So if you could have like Breath of the Wild with the DLC packed in as a new Switch 2 sort of launch window title or something like that, that's an enhanced version of the game, like this is saying, with better frame rates and better resolution, I think people would be completely on board with that. People would repurchase that game. I know consumers don't like to hear that, but money talks. And if money is going to one separate, one individual place and they're making money on it, why wouldn't you want to do a re-release of the game? I know we all want backwards compatibility, and this isn't saying that backwards compatibility is off the table or anything like that. I just want people to entertain the thought that the system might not have backwards compatibility. That's all I'm asking, because there's so many schmucks out there that are like, oh, it's a guaranteed home run, and they're going to take victory laps if the system does have backwards compatibility. But what are they going to do if it doesn't? What are they going to do if it doesn't? You know how the internet is. So interesting stuff with Breath of the Wild there. I think it's definitely a game that could use some enhancements in things like the resolution, and the frame rate. When you look at, what a PC can run this game at, 60 frames per second, and then the Switch isn't. But the next thing is a little bit more interesting for a lot of people because of two different things. So another VGC source claimed that Nintendo showcased Epic's impressive The Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, originally released to showcase the power of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X in 2021, running on target specs for its next console. The demo is said to be running using NVIDIA's DLSS upscaling technology, with advanced ray tracing enabled and visuals comparable to Sony and Microsoft's current gen consoles. However, it should be noted that this does not mean the Switch successor will sport raw power anywhere near that of a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, which aren't portable devices. So kind of a twofold thing here, and I want to go over each individual thing. So as far as the Matrix Awakens Unreal 5 engine tech demo, okay, I know everyone's freaking out over this because that's probably the most visually impressive thing that we've seen on the current gen consoles. Maybe GT7 in VR can match that, but that's a very impressive thing. However, this is an Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, meaning that it's Unreal Engine 5, meaning that in theory, this could actually run on the standard Nintendo Switch that we have right now, because Unreal 5 or Unreal Engine 5 is supported on the current generation Nintendo Switch. Now, would it look good? Probably not, but it could run on the system. I think the next thing though is a bit more interesting, is that the DLSS upscaling technology and ray tracing enabled. So DLSS is something that I have been preaching from the mountaintops ever since, you know, we started to get into the Nintendo Switch successor thing, because artificial upscaling is the future. Point blank, period. And I know sometimes it works great. I know sometimes it doesn't work as great. But in this power war that seems to be never ending, that there is no sort of restitution with it. In a power war with a handheld console trying to compete with home consoles, artificial upscaling is going to be the future of this, because it allows you to do things without having the raw power to necessarily do it. Like it says in the article here, you know, it doesn't mean that it's going to be you know, a one-to-one replication in terms of pure hardware, but when we're using things like artificial intelligence to fix our games and upscale the games, I mean, I've shown trailers of what DLSS can do, because it's very impressive stuff. It's designed for lower power hardware to run things and make things look better than it probably should be on just the baseline hardware. So I think DLSS is going to be a huge part of Nintendo's future. Of course, they go on to say that Nintendo filed patents for potential artificial upscaling technology back in 2020, stuff that we've talked about before. You know, Digital Foundry says DLSS at any normal screen distance looks almost as good as the real thing. And I mean, that's what people should be excited about from this, in my opinion. I'm not going to get super excited that a Unreal Engine 5 demo was running on a system, just because of the fact that it already runs. It's already a engine that you can use on your standard Nintendo Switch. Breath of the Wild being enhanced, I expect that to be a thing. I expect them to re-release that game right alongside of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with all the additional DLC and all the new courses that they've put into the game over time, because it's going to sell. Like, if you can get mad about it, you can get mad about it, but if it sells, that's all that matters at the end of the day. But the DLSS stuff, that's the stuff I'm most excited about. That's the stuff that makes my chest hair grow faster. I don't know where I was going with that. Look, it's a little bit early here. I just got out of bed. That's why I'm not on camera. I didn't feel like showering and stuff like that. But this is cool stuff, man. This is cool stuff. 2024 is going to be very interesting for the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo in general. And I cannot wait to be here to cover it all with you guys. So let me know in the comments section down below, how we feeling about all this? What do we think about all this? You know, Breath of the Wild, do you think it'll be a re-release, or do you think it'll be an enhanced version of the original game that you can just plug into your Switch? Like, do you understand how ridiculous that sounds? That Nintendo is just going to give you a big free update for this game. This is Nintendo. They will resell you stuff from 30 years ago and act like nothing is wrong with it. But you know, whatever. And what do you think about the Unreal Engine 5 stuff? DLSS, is it the future? Because it totally is. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 500,000 subscribers. That's my peak on YouTube. You know, some people are like, oh, you can hit a million. No, I can't hit a million. You're gonna let this dude hit 1 million subscribers? Hell no. So 500,000, that is my peak. That is what I'll be happy with. Let's go ahead and try to get there before the end of the year. Check out the other videos on the channel. I've got a brand new, very interesting mini PC for emulation coming up, but it's very different than the other mini PCs because everything is built into it, and we're talking about a $350 price point. So I'm very excited to show that off over the weekend. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.